About 1 week ago, I asked you guys in the community tab, which Skylander game do you guys like more? And boy, a lot of you guys did not like the results of some of the polls, but in this video I'll be showing the results and talking about what I thought about the results and maybe some statistics at the end of the video, and we're gonna see which game is the best game according to you guys. And I was actually able to figure out which one it would be before I even started any of the polls, but let's get right into the polls. So in the first poll, I asked which Skylanders game was better between Spyro's Adventure and Giants. Now this was the poll that I was actually the most surprised with. I thought this would be very close, and I also thought that Spyro's Adventure would ultimately win due to nostalgia. But no, I was wrong. Giants not only won, but won very handily. Giants got 72% of the vote, while Spyro's Adventure got only 28%. I know that a lot of people in the Skylanders community love these two games, and they always seem to be what people think are the best games in the franchise. Two beasts in the Skylanders series, and it was a blowout. Kind of anticlimactic if you think about it, but that's just what you guys voted for. Like I said though, this was the poll that most surprised me, but yeah, in the Skylanders games bracket, Giants moves on. Now we get to Swap Force and Trap Team, and I was pretty confident that Trap Team would win. And Trap Team did win, and it didn't win as much as Giants though. Trap Team got 69% of the vote, nice, while Swap Force got 31% of the vote. But in the comments, a lot of people said while they love Swap Force, they like Trap Team more. So it seems like Swap Force didn't lose because people thought it was a bad game. It was more that they thought that Trap Team just was slightly better. In most people's eyes, that is. But most in the comments did not seem mad about how the poll ended up being. But I can't say that about the next poll. And the next poll was Superchargers and Imaginators. And dang, the two most controversial Skylanders games head to head. And Imaginators beats Superchargers. And I am so happy with that. I can't tell you guys how happy I am with that. I guess Superchargers is really the worst Skylanders game. You guys know I like poking fun at Superchargers, and this really helps a lot right now. This is where most people got really salty in the comments. I like you, Terrapog, but he wrote an essay on why Superchargers is better, as well as Skyland Sebi. I am so glad that you guys are mad, and be mad only makes me more happy. I'm obviously joking, but still, this was just so amazing to see. Thank you guys. Now, I know that Imagineers is my favorite game, and now at least I know that everyone likes it more than Superchargers. I love that there was so much arguing in this poll, and I'm going to talk about statistics at the end of the video. But what I just want to mention right now is that most people whose favorite game is Superchargers don't like Imaginators, and I think I know why that is. But like I said, I'll talk about statistics at the end of the video. Also, I just want to say that again. Like a lot of these polls, Imaginators won by a lot, getting 64% of the vote, while Superchargers got 36% of the vote. The next poll was the closest poll by far, and the two games going head to head were Giants and Trap Team. And like I just said, this was by far the closest poll. Trap Team won 56% of the vote, and Giants won 44% of the vote. I had a feeling that these two were going to be the closest when it came to the polls, and I had a feeling that Trap Team would win, and I was right. I do think Giants and Trap Team are the two most loved games in the Skylanders community, so I knew that the vote would most likely be closer than the other polls, but yet Trap Team came out on this one on top and heads to the finals against Imaginators. And this is probably the most anticlimactic one ever. Trap Team won against Imaginators in a landslide. Trap Team got 88% of the vote, and Imaginators got 12%. I really wanted Imaginators to win because it is my favorite game, but I knew Trap Team would win by a lot. This was the most predictable poll for me. I mean, there's no way that Imaginators was going to win this one, even though personally I like Imaginators more. Alright, let's get into statistics. So, first, at the end of it all, Trap Team is the overall Skylanders community favorite game. Now, I guess that this would happen. Whenever someone talks about Trap Team, it's always positive, and all the lists I've seen of Skylanders games, well, Trap Team might not be number one, it's always usually second or third place. And I know there's some people out there that don't like Trap Team. I'm looking at you, Scry Jack, but for the most part, Trap Team is held very high in the Skylanders community. Also, by looking at the polls, I was able to get a list of worst to best Skylanders games ranking, of what the community thinks at least. So coming in last place for the Skylanders community, least favorite Skylanders game is Superchargers. It's the worst Skylanders game favored by the community, and it's not really even close. It lost to Imaginators, and Imaginators lost to Trap Team, only getting 12% of the vote. So it's pretty easy to guess that Superchargers is the community's least favorite game. While there are a few people who think Superchargers is the best game overall, it is 6th place, and in 5th place is Imaginators. While it is my favorite game, it gets 5th place in the Skylanders community's ranking. This is weird to me since Imaginators usually gets dunked on by the community, but apparently even after all that, they still think Superchargers is worse. 4th place is Spyro's Adventure, and it was hard trying to figure out if 4th place would go to Spyro's Adventure or Swap Force, but after looking at it, I think that it's Spyro's Adventure that comes out in 4th place. It's because Swap Force lost by less to Trap Team, which got 1st place overall, while Spyro's Adventure lost more to Giants, which lost to Trap Team. I actually was not expecting this. I was expecting Spyro's Adventure to at least get top 3, but the community has spoken and it gets 4th place, and right after that, Swap Force gets 3rd place. And I guess this makes sense since usually a lot of people's list, Swap Force is somewhere in the middle. I mean, I know a lot of people like Swap Force. Crypt Crusher would disagree with this, but it seems like it's true according to the community that it gets middle of the road when it comes to Skylanders games. And I was pretty sure that the next two would be 2nd and 1st place, and Giants gets 2nd place and Trap Team gets 1st place. These two, like I said before, are definitely the most beloved games in the community. According to a lot of people, Giants is just a better version of SSA for a bunch of people, and Trap Team is just the best game for a bunch of people in the Skylanders community. These two are always held pretty high on everyone's Skylanders list, so the list overall for the Skylanders community's ranking of the Skylanders games from worst to best is 6th place, Superchargers, 5th place, Imaginators, 4th place, Spyro's Adventure, 3rd place, Swap Force, 2nd place Giants, and 1st place Trap Team. Even if someone like Crypt Crusher did this on his community tab, someone that would get more votes than me on his polls, I still think the list would be the same. Swap Force and Spyro's Adventure may switch, but I still think that this list is pretty definitive. So here are some statistics. Most people who like Superchargers do not like Imaginators, and the same with people who like Imaginators, most of them do not like Superchargers. People who like Superchargers also really enjoy a good story, which Superchargers brings, and good landscapes, while people who like Imaginators don't really care all that much about the story and more about gameplay, I think. That's just what I'm guessing. Another thing that I noticed is that the hardest poll for people to decide on was the SSA and Giants poll. Most everybody in the comments said that it was close for them, and this is because in my opinion, SSA and Giants are the two most similar games in the series. And I just think the Giants improved over SSA, in my opinion. And not surprisingly, the two games where it was the least hard for people to decide was Trap Team and Imaginators poll. So, Superchargers fans don't like Imaginators, Imaginators fans don't like Superchargers, Swap Force fans like Giants usually more than SSA, and Giants fans also like SSA, but they just like Giants a bit more. And Trap Team fans, well, I don't really know how to get a good read on them since Trap Team fans were the majority of the vote. Also, as one last confirmation, I did one more poll asking if Trap Team was the best Skylanders game. And this poll would be the hardest for Trap Team to win, as it was going against every other Skylanders game. So in the poll I asked, is Trap Team the best game? Yes or no? And Trap Team won. And this is interesting, because Trap Team won by the same margin in this poll as it won by Giants. 56% of people said it was the best game, and 44% of people said it was not the best game. And when Trap Team went up against Imaginators, Trap Team won by 56% of the vote, and Giants got 44% of the vote. I don't know why I think this is interesting, but yeah, that's just some cool trivia, I guess, for you. But anyway, guys, if you guys have enjoyed this video, if you were wondering why I've been asking what is the best Skylanders games in the polls, it was for this video, because I wanted to see what the community thought the best Skylanders game was. And before the polls even started, I did guess that it would be Trap Team. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and thank you guys for watching.